Hey, what is going on, guys? And today I will show you the best assault rifle with the best class setup in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, where I'm going to rank all the assault rifles worst to best. Welcome guys to Gamescreen Network. My name is Anders. I'm currently in a custom game menu where I'm going to show you all the assault rifles with the best class setups. I'm going to rank all the guns from worst to best and tell you why some perform better. First, I'm quickly going to talk about every assault rifle, side attachment, and with the best class setup. So first up is the ACR. It is a really good weapon. It has really low recoil and it has a magazine size of 35, so it's really good as well. For sights, it has the reflex, recon, holographic, dual zoom, threat detector, the NVER. For the attachments, he has grip, FMG, quickdraw, laser sight, grip 2, and long barrel. So what I use is no optic because the iron sight is pretty good, and I could spare another point here. And for attachments, I go for grip 1, 2. This gives you literally no recoil whatsoever, and grip 2 reduces the flange, so that's also really nice. And quickdraw is really good for quick reactions and gunfights. And as for the perks I use is engineer because there's a lot of equipment in this game and using engineer is really handy. And for perk 3 I use ghost because UAV get literally spammed in this game, and dead silence because to counter the annoying sensor. And I don't really use perk 2 because they are pretty not really useful that much. And of course the wildcard for perk 3 and for the attachments. Coming up next is the Rampart. This is a high damage, low fire rate assault rifle with kind of lowest range and lowest accuracy. What makes this gun really not that great, but it has also a round of 30 in the max, so that's pretty low as well. And for the sights, he has reflex, recon, holographic, and dual zoom, and threat detector. And for the attachments, you have high caliber, FMG, long barrel, fast mags, high caliber 2, FMG 2, and grip. So what I use for the attachments, and I actually use no optic because the iron sight is pretty good. Or you can use the reflex, but I don't use it. You will definitely want to go high caliber and high caliber 2 because this actually makes the gun usable. And actually long barrel because that will help out the low range it has. You could go grip, but the accuracy is still bad if you have even grip on it, so I would just suggest use long barrel. And same here, engineer, ghost, and dead silence, and the wildcards for the attachment and the wild and the perk. Yeah. So next up is the KN57. What is generally as like a general damage, range, fire rate, and accuracy compared to the other weapons, and has 35 rounds in the max, so that's actually pretty good. And it states that it's high damage, short range, but I say it is actually pretty good in every range, but still gets outgunned by the other guns because some perform better in long range and some perform better in short range. But to make this gun even better is to have the good attachments on it. But first, the optics are reflect, recon, holographic, and elo. I don't really use the sight here, but for the attachments, you have hybrid mags, quick draw, laser sight, grip, stock, extended mags, rapid fire, and suppressor. I use grip to just get that little bit more accuracy, quick draw for the quick reaction speed in gunfights, and fire rate to increase the DPS of this weapon. And same for the perks here, engineer, ghost, dead silence, and the wild cards. So coming up next is the VAPR-XKG. What is pretty high fire rate weapon and has still good range, has some lower damage, but still has good accuracy and has 35 rounds in the mag, what is also pretty good, and has an operator mod, the bayonet. And for optics, it has reflect, recon, elo, and NVER. And attachments, you have suppressor, long barrel, stock, fast mags, rapid fire, high caliber rounds, and stock 2. What I use here is the elo side because I really don't like the iron side. And for the attachments, I use a rapid fire to increase the DPS. And I have long barrel. You could use high caliber rounds, but not sure that you always will shoot in the head, so I pretty much think that long barrel is better, and the other attachments don't really matter that much. Because I have two attachments here, I can use the Perk 2 here, and that is Dexterity, or you could go for Cold-Blooded, but I like Dexterity more because you're much faster and everything. And Ghost, Death Silence, and Engineer for the other perks. This gun also has an Operator mod. I'm going to show you right there here. This will actually just put a blade into the weapon, and you will, if you use your melee, you will actually use the blade to one-shot people with it. So, but it is not really that worth it to use it. So I would just suggest not using it. And as final, you have the MADDOX, what is a really high fire rate weapon and has 40 rounds in the mag. That is really good. It has some low range that damage is the same as the Viper, but it doesn't really matter because it still has more fire rate. And accuracy is pretty low, but I'm getting back to that. So for the optics, you have reflex, holographic, dual zoom, and elo. And for the attachments, you have laser sight, fast mags, quick draw, stock, laser sight 2, fast mags 2, and quick draw 2. What you only need in this weapon is quick draw and the elo sight, because the iron sight is really bad, but because the accuracy is really low on this gun, when using the elo sight, it doesn't really matter that much. And you want to have quick draw on it, because the quick draw speed is really, really good for gunfights. Pretty much the other perks don't really matter. You could use stock, but I don't really need it. For the perks, you can go Engineer, Dexterity, Ghost, and Death Silence. The MADDOX has an Operator mod, what I'm actually going to explain right here. And this will increase the fire rate, but it actually doesn't. You will just shoot 2 rounds when you basically shoot 1. And actually the gun shoots really slower, but it will shoot 2 rounds. But the one bad thing on this thing is when you have this equipped, the accuracy is really, really bad. So better not using the Echo Fire. It's not worth it. So that is all the assault rifles explained. Now I'm going into game and I am going to rank the guns from worst to best. So the worst assault rifle is the Rampart, and this is mainly because the recoil of this weapon is really bad. And the damage isn't really there, but if you have a high caliber round on it, it is actually usable, but the accuracy is still bad. Even if you use grip, it is still not that great. But the problem is with this gun is it is good, but the accuracy is bad, and if you get flinched, you might end up dying, and that always happened with me. It's still a good gun, although for long range you could just tap it. But this doesn't work really for close ranges. Still good weapon. High caliber rounds makes it actually usable. If you don't have high caliber rounds, I think this gun is really worthless, but still, it's still good if you have high caliber rounds. So you can still use it if you want to. So next up is the KN57, what shoots pretty stable, and with the attachment on it, it actually can compete with the faster fire rate weapons from close ranges. So if you have attachments on it, it is really good. And it is pretty stable, although I would not recommend going head on to people with long range, because the more you shoot this weapon, actually the accuracy is going worse. So you could just tap it, but I do not prefer tapping with the gun. If you don't have the attachments on it, I think it's pretty shit. You cannot really compete to close range, so that is basically when this gun becomes useless. So if you have the right attachments, this gun is pretty good. Next up is the VAPR. The recoil of this weapon is a little bit off, but this gun is actually meant for close range. It shoots really fast and has pretty good recoil for the first few rounds when you're close, so it doesn't really matter that much. Although I find it sad that it doesn't have quick draw, because that would definitely have from close range. Definitely going to win close range gunfights with this weapon. For long range, a long barrel really helps, but the recoil is pretty off, so best tapping or just keep using this gun for close ranges. Coming to the second best assault rifle, and that is the ACR, what is pretty good in every range, because if you run grip on it, it is basically has no recoil. And with the flinching reduced, it is also great for gunfights. And with the quick draw, it is also very great. And because it is so stable, it is very good in long range. But in also gunfights, it is also easy with the quick draw. You can quickly react and quickly shoot the enemies with this weapon because it's very stable. But this gun is really, in general, very good. And this weapon is unlocked from the start, so it's one of the best weapons to start when playing multiplayer. So the best assault rifle is the MADDOX, and the recoil is pretty good if you run the elo side, and you can really react very fast with this weapon. It has really fast fire rate, and with Quickdraw 1 and 2 you can basically react even as the fastest gun in the game, even faster than some submachine guns. So it's really pretty good. It will definitely beat every assault rifle in the game, except maybe for the ACR in longer ranges, but if you're lucky with the recoil, you're pretty much going to beat the ACR as well. So guys, those are the assault rifles ranked to worst to best with the best class setups. But that wraps up the video. I thank you guys for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, and if you want more gaming videos like this one, then you can subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. But guys, I see you in the next one, and have an awesome day.